Welcome back, friends. Let's finish up our little project that we started in the last lesson. So we're at this stage here. All right, so click Start to review. All right, so what's the sequence of actions? Well, we are going to left double click here, choose our folder, and then click OK. The button becomes enabled. And now we're going to click List Button. And when we do that, we want to fill the box below with the file names in the folder. So keep that in mind. That's the objective. So how do we do that? Well, left double click on List Files. And this brings up our file like this, so form1.cs. And this is the code that will run when we click the button. So what do we have to do here? First of all, because output could accumulate in a rich text box, we want to clear it every time when we click List Files. So first stage is clear the text box. So we'll say, for example, here, rich text box 1.text, and just clear that out. So clear text box on each button click, like that, so stuff does not accumulate, so output does not accumulate forever. That's the first stage. Next, how do we go from here? Well, up here, come up to the top of the file and type using system.io. So what is the purpose of using system.io? It's going to allow us to use the directory class. So in other words, allows using directory class. And this is helpful because there's a directory class and there's a file, and inside the directory class is a method called getFiles. So in other words, the method that we need to reach into a directory or a folder, in other words, and then get the files out of it. So we can get all the files in a folder. That's the reason for that, okay? There you go. Let me fix that spelling there quickly. Let's scroll back down. Now at first it is grayed out until we make use of it. Alright, so over here, the first use is type this, string, and then you're going to put square brackets. So that's a data type, string, and then after it you have two brackets. So what we're going to do, create an array. Okay, so we're going to create an array. An array, for our purpose at this stage, is defined. So an array is a collection of items. And the beautiful part about an array is, for example, array values, if you want, array values can be examined one at a time using a for each loop, like that. So an array is a collection of values, and then you can look at the first value, the second value, the third value, all the way to the end. So what that means for our purposes is string, then you're going to put brackets, and then over here you will say the following files. So that's the name of our array. And on the right side, what can we type? Well, you'll type directory. Now hover your mouse over it. You see that's a class. And what can you do? Well, if you look at a big tooltip that shows, it says static methods. That means, for example, you type the name of the class, dot, and then the name of the method. That's what I mean by static methods. Just like the one that we created ourselves earlier. Alright, then for creating, moving, and enumerating through directories and subdirectories. Enumerating simply means listing for our purposes. You can create, move, and enumerate or list them. So there's a lot to be done. It's kind of interesting and powerful. So directory, dot, and some of the methods are right here. See that? So enumerate files, for example. And for our purposes, we'll say get files, like that. When I look at get files and I hover my mouse over it, you see over here it says string and then the two square brackets. So notice that that over there matches what we have on that side. So a big theme throughout C# is matching data types on the left and right sides. So in other words, when get files operates, it returns an array of file names. That's why on the left side I also have string. I have the two data types matched. Alright, and then we need a path. So the path is to be written from the box, for example. So we'll say txt folder path.text, like that, and then close with a semicolon. So what is everything that is happening here? There's already a lot, right? So directory, dot get files returns an array of file names like that, which is then saved to the files array. So we have a collection of everything that we need. And because it is a collection of items, you can use a for each loop to examine them, step through them, in other words. And to do that, we can say for each. And then you can type, for example, here. You see where it says get files again, and you see it says string, like that. So in other words, each item, each thing in our array called files is a string. That is the name of the file. Because that is so, over here I can type string. So this, in other words, refers to the fact that the files array stores file names as strings. And then I will say file, and then in the files array, like that. Okay. So again, remember, the purpose of this line is essentially saying this: grab each file name, store it to the variable file, and once you have it available, then you can make use of it. And remember, you will do this as many times as there are files to be examined. So we'll say rich text box 1.text, and then plus equals to accumulate the output in the box, and then put a dollar symbol for string interpolation, and then over here we'll say file, like that. And then at the end, because you want to stack the output vertically, file names, and so on, everything could be very long, we'll say over here /n, terminate with a semicolon. So what this is saying, of course, is display, okay, the files in the rich text box, like that. Alright, so hit start. Alright, so left double click, choose some folder, doesn't really matter much. For example, Amazon Vector Book 2. Click OK. List the files, and there are the files listed, you see? And it gives you a nice scroll bar, of course, on the right side also. There you go. So you've got the path, in other words. You see, you've got the file name, so page1.mp4. So you've got the file name, page 1, you've got the extension, mp4, and you've got the path or the location where the file is stored. It's giving you all that detail. Alright, friends, that is it. That actually completes this project. So you've learned about quite a few different useful and practical things. Thank you, and I'll see you in another video.